There we go. Finally back into the regular swing of things. Going places fucking throws you off your game, man. You know, time zones changing. You got days where you're just traveling around. So you either got to face your lift first, a little unprepared, potentially underfed, or save it for later after a day of being a little bit extra inflamed, and then odds are you're probably just better off turning that into a rest day. It's a lot of angles to look at there. But finally back. Carb intake for the day so far, quite low. I think I've only had like 60. A little higher on the fats. I had some leftover ground beef. I finished off basically everything that was still in the fridge before I made some extra ground beef last night. But yeah, perfectly prepared for a leg day. At least I will be once I get this pre-workout consumed and the caffeine kind of, getting to work its fucking magic. And the reason I haven't yet is because, fuck man, legs is a long lift. And if I already, with most of these workouts, I end up drinking the pre-workout, like obviously beforehand. But like if I'm about to go do chest, I get straight into it. And the workout only takes like, 40 something minutes. So if the gym's 20 minutes away, I'll drink it at the house, drive by the time I get there, warm it up, and then the main component of that workout has already begun. But with legs, got to do hamstrings first. Oh, excuse me. But got to get hamstrings out of the way first, or I might make tonight a little bit of a back and forth of hams and quads. We'll just have to see. But it's a bit longer. Right? 2 big muscle groups. Something like chest, I'm only going to do 7 total working sets. But something like legs, hams and quads together, takes a little bit more. It takes a little more out of you. So usually I like to sort of delay my caffeine release by drinking the pre-workout right when I get started. Because I don't need to be fucking, stimmed out of my mind for hamstring curls. I want to feel the full effects of the caffeine and some of the legit performance enhancing effects. Like it does have a bit of a pain tolerance sort of something or other going on. You're literally going to be able to go harder, fully caffeinated. But, it's just, I don't want it to run out, right? So I feel like if I drink it now, it's fully kicked in by the first set of hamstrings. It's like I'm at an all-time energy high in the beginning, and then I reach sort of a lull right as I'm about to start quads, the hard part. It just doesn't work for me. And you might think to yourself, okay, Sam, well, if quads and hamstrings together is too much, why not split them? I think about that, right? But it's like I could either save hamstrings for a separate day and just do quads only, but then I got to throw hamstrings in with like a completely unrelated muscle group, which just doesn't really feel right for me. Or I got to turn my leg days into leg two-a-days, where excuse me, where I've got hamstrings in like the morning or the evening and then quads at night. It just, I don't see it, And the reason I think that doing hamstrings, at least more biased towards the beginning of the workout for legs, if not just in the beginning of legs, like, Sam, just finish all quads first, then you're done, and then do hamstrings. Well, hamstrings, like, it takes some out of you, but it doesn't take everything out of you. Like, after my last set of quads, I want that to be it. Because I don't want to have to, like, think to myself, okay, I want to leave some juice in the tank for this next one. And if I've got a full-on hamstring workout afterward, then that subconscious voice telling you, okay, well, you still got hamstrings. It just doesn't work. So eventually I think I've come to the conclusion, leg days are just meant to be fucking hard. No way to get around it. But that's cool. That's what gives it its value, If it was easy, everybody would fucking do it. And do not take these yawns for lack of enthusiasm. Let's give me a second to readjust to regular day schedule. But either way, I can say with certainty that before the top of the next hour, actually the top of the next hour would be, when minute, right? But by the time I roll up, it shouldn't take me more than about an hour, hour and a half to completely finish legs. And even then, that's giving me a little bit of extra time, because when I'm dieting down, I'm not doing insanely huge sets of leg press where I need 6 minutes in between sets to recover. I'm going to be pretty moderate with it. So I think this should only be more like an hour. But I can go back and look at like the times that the first set I hit record and then the last one, and I can actually see just really how long did this lift take. I don't have to just keep a watch on me or like a timer going or anything else like that. But I can say with certainty there will be some extra veins and pumpage in the lower body, the likes of which we'll just have to wait for the pump check to see what extent actually fucking occurred. But no more chatting. I would just make this freaking leg day get started. So movement number 1, not that freaking heavy. Honestly, combined with the fact that this stack is just insane. Like the only guy who could do this stack, full stack, single leg, would be you gotta look up his Instagram, Jim Dan. Probably the craziest hamstrings I think in the world would be a pretty apt description. But either way, I don't need half the stack. I don't even I don't even need a quarter of the stack. I'm doing, what is that? 15%? Well, 25 pounds, single leg, burnout style, slow, controlled, with a momentary squeeze on top. That's the plan here. And then, next might be some heavier RDLs or laying curls, but this is a good start. Half, because it's a light, I don't have to take a while to really warm up. There's no danger, like, physically. And then also, it's just like a good opener. That's the best way I could freaking describe it. So left side first, and then we can go from there. No. 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 Okay. No. No. Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay. Let's do one more, same weight. And then I got a habit of doing curls back to back, like seated and then laying and then whatever. Let's do RDLs first. So standing curls, RDLs, finished with laying curls. And then move on to whatever movement number 1 for quads ends up being. That's the game plan. No. Oh my god, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's do some dumbbell RDL next. 85 should be just about the sweet spot. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Whew. Oh, goodness. One more of those. Okay. Whew. Oh, yeah, okay. Whew. This will be it for hams. Okay. Let's start some leg extensions. Let's start with 5 reps on the left, 5 on the right, 5 on the left, 5 on the right. Again, very similar to the benefit of starting with the single leg standing curl. I don't have to go monstrously heavy on this to make it a good opening set, and I get the benefit from getting my quads completely warmed, knees, everything else. So when I move on to a press next, I'll be ready to go. Because if I were to jump straight to a press on the first set, I would still want to sit in the leg extension anyway and get warmed up. So I almost feel like while I'm here, I may as well just get quads started anyway. And, you know, very contrary to what I used to think, I don't lose that much strength. You know, I'm sure my like 1 rep ability will decrease after a few sets of leg extensions, but in working set ranges, I mean, really, I just feel fresh. You know, like even when I'm going extra crazy heavy, like doing a couple sets of leg extensions to failure first, maybe it just doesn't hit the same fibers or in the same way or something, but I feel just as fucking strong and twice, if not like 3 times as warm. I mean, it's a pretty even fucking balance. So let's get this started. It needs to be kind of nasty. I don't need these to be super slow and controlled. I can save that for later in the lift when I won't be able to go as heavy. All right. And 1 notch up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Whew. Yeah. I think 1 or 2 more just like that, and then move on. What to? That's a surprise for both of us. Whatever I think will feel the best. Okay. One more. Okay. Okay. Let's go press something. All right, let's have some restraint and just stick to some 4-plate squats here. I think I want to try some sets of 10. So 10 reps with this, like quick reps, they're going to be hard, but almost similar style to the leg extensions. Like those weren't too absolute failure. Like I can still probably bust out some extra partials. So I'm going to see how I fare with just some lower, well, it's not lower volume, because instead of just doing one crazy set, I'm planning for more like at least 2, maybe 3-ish, slightly longer sets, so the workload's a little more even. Because if I try to smack around 5 plates or anything heavier for like 8 and then hit complete failure, I'm going to tweak my shit, man. Freaking dieting down. I was about to say, the dieting down sucks. And it's not because of the difficulty of dieting, it's because I'm fucking pulling back on the gas in the training. But that's just the nature of it, right? Everything comes in and out, yin and yang, ebbs and flows. I'm just gonna music playing and get ready for this. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, a few more of those. Oh, yeah. Okay. Holy shit. One more of those. Holy crap. And then I think I'm going to burn out with leg extensions for one more superset as a finisher. Holy crap, man. Even 4 plates is fucking heavy. What the hell? Oh, let's go finish this shit off. So, that was a good freaking 3 on that Smith squat. Heavy enough that it were hard, but not so heavy that I feel like I pulled anything or I'm gonna feel it in the morning in a bad way, which sounds like I'm a 45-year-old dude. But dieting down, I mean, I am trying to reduce my injury frequency, which I have gotten better at. It's like just between me and you, it's gonna take a little while for me to lose the ego lifter, chocolate milk drinker, cinnamon toast crunch eater sort of stigma I've got. But no, I am improving. Like even my thought process about how I'm gonna go about this next bulking phase, much different. And it's not only like trying to fit the box of like how should you bodybuild that like I'm hearing from everybody else. Not to say that everyone's wrong or anything like that. Like I've gotten so much like denser information from having like the outreach and the response that I've got now. But it's more so just if you're looking at your own results and then like if you try new shit long enough, you notice this works, this doesn't, and then you start picking all the shit that works and losing all the shit that doesn't. Then you can put 2 guys in a completely separate room or a completely separate fucking world, and if they both had the same goal, let's say muscle building, they're probably going to come to similar conclusions over time, right? I mean, it's it's like funny enough, there definitely is a science to it where some stuff is objectively going to help you improve at a faster rate, and then some stuff might seem like it, but you're really just you're pedaling without moving. So that's where I'm extra I mean, I'm always extra excited about this shit because every bulking phase I get smarter about it. Every dieting phase I get more diligent with it because I got to be bigger and or I don't have to be bigger. I physically am bigger, and it's like a bit trickier to back off on the calories. It's like over time, all these little things are starting to improve. I'm getting really excited. Just like I'm getting so fucking ahead of myself here. Let's just focus on this last finisher set, and we can talk about this after doing the pose down. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, in a slow squeezing fashion in the beginning. And then I'll translate that, or I'll switch over to some more like fast reps as the burnout. Boy. Okay. That's enough. Let's go find some air space. Oh my gosh. That was good. Hamstrings obliterated. Quads highly stimulated. I would not say obliterated. And then now, let's just see pump-wise what fucking resulted. And even just standing here, like, if somebody gave me a behind-the-knee push, I would probably crumple. And that's, I'm not asking for it either. But let's see how they're looking. So this would be, yeah, I mean, shit. This is just fully pumped. So let's just pop one pant leg out. So veins are beginning to freaking appear. Slowly but surely. Let's up the zoomage a touch. And there we go. Oh, if we're already this far. Yeah, perfect. Oh my gosh. Oh, that breath hold just made me fucking lightheaded. But yeah, man. Okay. See, now we're cooking with gas, especially this left quad. That is some detail, which will only get more and more fucking interesting the leaner I become. And there's some on the right side, but it looks like the left is a little bit more spoiled with veins and feathering. My right quad's a little bigger up in this top quadrant, which I think is to do with the diving background. Because every time I've said this a couple times, every time you go to do an approach for diving, and this is for years on end, a little step, little step, little step, and then a big jump all on this leg. So it got a little more pressing development when I was younger. But let's zoom back in and get a few more. Oh, oh my gosh. Holy shit. Even just fucking standing up is getting me going. Let's see how they're looking back here. Holy crap. Well, quad's wrecked. How about we pop a squat and discuss it? So, I would say that was a good lift.
kind of a pretty, kind of a basic little post lift chat. Like imagine you had a fucking soccer game and the coach was like, "Good game, guys," and that was the end of it. But I mean, that's what I'm fucking aiming for, you know? Like, as detailed as I could get into it, and like I could have a tracking app where it's like, okay, make sure you get 3 meso rep sets and 3 of your heaviest pressing at RPE 12, and then 4 back off sets of, 10 reps in reserve. Like, for some guys, if that clicks for you, like if we're looking at these lifts in a very like objective numerical approach, gets you going, makes you train harder, then do that. Obviously, I'm not saying I mean that whole shit I was talking about over there on the last set of leg extensions, like you've got all this shit at your disposal. You use it in such a way that you can improve the gains and the training that you do, then whatever fucking method you come up with that ends up working for you, if it's working, that's the fucking proof in the pudding. What you're doing is good. But what I'm trying to get at is if a real like detailed approach like that is what gets your fucking engines firing, do it. But for me at least, you're not. I don't really like having a like. It never gets me like excited to have like a training log, recording all the sets numbers I do. Which in a way I do because I got all these videos I can look back on. But that's more just for like, how did I look back then? How was I training back then? Like I'm not looking at it at a set by set basis. Because for me, my approach is always okay. Every muscle group's workout has a couple different ways to go about it. Quads, leg extensions, pressing, sometimes leg pressing versus like squatting. That's a little 2-factor split there. And that's basically it. Hamstrings, RDLs, and leg curls. They get a little activation on your pressing during quads, but that's all there is to it. So in my mind, it's like, okay, I'm doing quads, I'm doing hamstrings. I want to hit them in those 2 ways or however many ways I have available. Back, you got pull downs, rows, pullovers, and sometimes some variations in between. Chest, pressing, flies. So it's like I condense it down to these few staple kinds of movements, and then I just make sure I do some of each. Go hard, do some heavy ones, do some light ones, do some fast ones, do some slow ones. And as long as the effort and the intensity was there, and I'm pumped and fatigued at the end of it, then from my perspective, I'm going to say good set, go home, feel good. I know when I sit down in the car and fucking like cool down and like scroll my phone for a second, I'm going to feel pretty satisfied. Mainly from those sets of Smith squats. Those were really good. At least they made me feel cool. And then, I get to go home, eat something, and know that the training I did today is going to count towards my overarching goals that I'm working on. So it takes a minute to get that feedback, because if you've never lifted before, you have to do a training routine with no results until those results start to, make themselves apparent to you. And then it's simply trial and error, because nobody has your exact routine. Nobody has your body. Nobody has your food preferences or like little genetic. I mean, nobody has your genetics specifically. That's the whole point of them, right? Every dude is completely fucking different. So don't feel like you have to fall directly into this cookie cutter approach that everybody else does. And half the time you do that anyway, you're going to get the results that everybody else gets. So don't feel fucking spooked to do something that not anybody else is really doing, purely because you're like, oh, I wonder what they're going to fucking think if I do, if I make any noise on this set, or if I do a set of 60 squats. Dude, you are in your own fucking world and everybody else is in theirs, right? So which one do you think is going to be most important for you to take fucking control of? But if I did a blood sugar test right now, I bet I'm running a little low. Haven't done that lift with no intra-carb or anything else. So now I feel like I'm just starting to fucking ramble. But either way, sweet lift, veins out the wazoo. Let's get in the car and head back to the crib. I feel really good about today's leg day.
Now, this is most certainly an all's well that ends well situation, but I didn't reference it before because word of mouth is very powerful, right? Like if you think something to yourself a little bit, you know, whatever. But if you say shit out loud to yourself, it just becomes the fucking truth, you know? So, once I parked and I was sipping on the pre-workout and sitting kind of scrolling on my phone for a little bit, just getting distracted, I almost, I almost freaking fell asleep in the car. Like I was, just a little tired from today with everything else. But that's half of the reason why I was so giddy at the end of quads, well, at the end of the lift, but at the end of quads specifically, because complete 180. Like once hamstrings was moving, I was basically into it. And then those sets of Smith machine squats really got me excited because it gets me going to do the squats. Like I feel like I'm missing out when I don't. So I think that's where I got to be a bit smarter about not going too crazy heavy with them and do them like that tonight, where it was like a moderate weight, not pushing it to the absolute extreme. Because, dude, fuck, man, how am I expected to do the same workouts and recover the exact same way now on like 20, like low 2,000 calories compared to like, you know, more than double, literally like 5,000 from months ago. I'm starting to get it a little bit more. Goodness. But yeah, that was a good flip around. The music I was playing was getting me going too. I love crap, what's his name? Ooh, I don't want to say it wrong, so I'll just say what it was. You gotta look it up. It's called Epic, a concept album. It's like all it's kind of Greek mythology-esque and whatever, like sort of it's just musical kind of song style shit, but it's like tells a story too, which that's half the reason why I like some specific songs for specific sets. Like whenever I do a crazy set of squats, I would always there's like this Attack on Titan edit that I like playing in my mind, or well, not in my mind, I'm playing it on my phone, but it's one that I like pick specifically because it really gets me going. Or like even some Dragon Ball shit, or like some Rock Lee music, and it's not just because like it's from a hype anime edit that gets you going. It's like the music is hitting me on multiple different levels of excitement because it's like a cool song. It's got, well, you know, I got it playing loud, and then it's also like bringing back the story about whatever it's talking about. You know, like some Rock Lee training, some Dragon Ball style shit. Like those songs, I think, play into the training so well because now you're like envisioning yourself as this fictional, or not envisioning yourself as them, but like, you know, taking this hype from this fictional kind of story and bringing it into reality. You know, which some guys that might sound like crazy fucking corny, but if I got a badass like Goku song edit plan and he's about to go Super Saiyan 3 and I got like damn near 500 pounds on my back, that gets me pretty excited, you know. And I don't mean like arbitrarily like, oh, this is gonna be fun. I mean like heart pumping, like you get this sort of, I mean, there's no better word than excitement and like hype about your lifts, which totally separates you from somebody who's working out completely calm. You know, I mean, I see guys, there's some guys when they're doing their sets, like they make a thing out of it. They don't make a face at all. Like they're almost like, well, if you guys are why are you guys making faces? I can still train hard and not make a face. Like, I mean, you might be right. I'm not saying these guys aren't going hard or anything, but it's like, I want to be excited about these sets on a set by set basis. I don't want to be sitting here like, you know, talking to the guy I'm next to during a working set. Like that's when I want to be really like in the zone, you know. Like I couldn't care less about having my music playing in between, like between sets. I don't mind some chatting, you know. I could sit and like just be like totally goofing whatever, but those 10-20 seconds before a set of squats, before a set of whatever, like that's a couple big breaths. I got whatever song I got playing, okay, kind of center my mind. Like I'm not even, I didn't, like before some of those sets of squats, I don't think I was really thinking about anything specific. I was just like, okay, grab the bar, give it like a shake, like that just gets me fucking going, man. So lesson learned for me, still squat, but back off on the weight. Still squat, but none of this 6-plate mumbo jumbo. All right, let's be a bit more considerate to my lower body's health. And really what I mean by that is like if I go too heavy on the pressing, sometimes or not even sometimes, like literally recently I'm doing some heavy leg press, and of course this is like heavy leg days, row, like back to back, to the point where like I could tell I kind of pulled something in my upper quadrant a little. And when I say pull, I don't mean like a big like tear, like just like a minor little thing, but enough where like I could still feel it the next leg day, and even maybe a touch the day after that, where it's like it's enough where I got to take action, or I guess you could say inaction, to prevent it from going any further. So that's the line I'm aiming for, right? Because obviously you're putting yourself at risk of injury every time you come to the gym. You know, some guys, perfect form, perfect everything, they're doing a normal weight that they can do, and for whatever reason, boom, pec tear. Like rare, usually there are warning signs, but you know, you never fucking know, man. So to an extent, I do think, okay, well, if you don't want to ever risk getting hurt at all, then don't come to the gym, right? But there is a balance where you look at somebody, you're like, fuck, that's the same weight that guy's been doing for months. He's totally fine with that. That should not have happened. Whoops. And that's maybe, honestly, that's maybe 1% of the time that there's no real like cause. It's just random accident. Usually, and by usually I mean 90 something percent of the time, it's I'm going too heavy, I'm under recovered. I wouldn't say overtrained, I would usually say under recovered. Didn't get enough water, dehydrated, warmed up too fast, didn't actually get a good amount of I guess you could just say activation before whatever that working set was. And then they try to jump the gun with the weight, or did these reps with a heavy weight way too fast. And I say that's a pretty exact example for me. I mean, I just pulled my chest a while ago doing like 4 plates on Smith. I felt crazy strong, but I was doing them like I basically like dropped it from the top and like caught it at the bottom, like a totally fucking idiot. So that's the thing where, okay, I'm putting myself in harm's way, so I've got to back off from there. But I still want to train hard enough where I'm in this, you know, green zone of intensity and stimulus. So I'm getting a better gauge for that. I usually call that the lifter sense, right? I say it's like, okay, this is a good set. Everything is in order. I'm warm. I'm fresh. I'm rested. This is good. I can go all out without worrying about much of anything, right? And then if any of those sort of prep steps are off, then that's usually when a little bit of an alarm system will go off, where I'm like, okay, my knees feel like way more tender than they usually would on this set of leg extensions when I'm warming up. And if they did, then that would have been my cue. No squats at all today. Just stick with light leg extensions. You know, don't put myself in harm's way. So it's a hard thing to say, right? I mean, I'm guilty of it too. It took me a little while to get it, and I'm still working on getting it. But right, it's hard to say you don't have to lift that heavy to the guy who's like, you know, really obsessed with getting bigger and getting stronger. But there is value to both sides. Obviously, you got to push it hard enough where you're giving yourself new stimulus to grow from, but you can't overdo it to the point where you're going to fuck yourself up. And instead of, you know, making progress forward, you're taking 2 steps back, 3 steps back, or, I mean, worst case scenario, you had something crazy catastrophic, I don't even want to think about it, then you could really screw yourself up. So there's a balance to it, you know, and a lot of it's just like common sense, but I'd say even more of it just kind of comes with training experience, you know. You're not gonna, what's the phrase? You're not gonna make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. It seems kind of stupid though, right? Obviously you have to break them to make it. Well, you get what I'm saying there. But yeah, highlighted point of that lift was, even if you feel a little bit off on the way in, once you get your pre-workout in your system, once you got some warm-up sets started, and once you get your music playing, at least for me, that gets me going. And I can have a good ass lift that I can feel extra good about afterward. Because now it's not only I had a good lift, but I had a good lift where I went into it not really feeling the best, you know. Did not have rattlesnake venom from blood walking into the gym today, but I definitely did when I left. And that cowboyish analogy is mainly because I'm like 3 seasons deep into Yellowstone now. You guys were right. I commented I was watching Landman, and somebody said that the same guys who made Yellowstone made Landman, and it got me a little curious. But either way, I get to go home, as Tom Platz would say. Ugh. Feeling like a winner. I get to eat a big old bowl of ground beef with probably just some barbecue sauce. I've been doing these bowls where it's like ketchup, mustard, low-fat mayonnaise, relish. So, once you're chewing on it, you may as well be eating a hamburger. But obviously no bun. But I think I'll just do a big bowl of ground beef, barbecue sauce, some kind of carb, at least as many as as many as I've got room for. And then I get to have a good night's rest. So, chest day tomorrow. Hopefully, chest will reflect the same amount of vein improvements that legs had tonight compared to last leg day. So I guess we will have to see. And then another thing I kind of didn't really reference. I had a rest day yesterday. Not anti-freaking rest day. Half of that was just because me and Mark were traveling, so it's kind of it would have been a 10 o'clock lift on like not the best sleep. So really, like I was saying a second ago, the preparation steps were off. Usually a cue to back off. But still, I think some rest days are going to have to be implemented a little bit more, especially as I get a bit steeper into this diet, purely because, it's not so, well, actually, yeah, I guess I was about to say it's not so much you're overtraining, but you're under-recovering, but really getting down lean-wise, like near, basically getting into prep level lean, like overtraining, it's a little bit of an aspect I'm going to have to consider. So I'm not going to, obviously I got to approach this time frame of lifting a little differently than I usually would, like a badass bulking phase. And, well, not that I'm too worried about it or anything, but it's definitely a different challenge than what I'm used to. But that's the cool part. It makes it interesting. So I think that's all I got. I'm excited for some chest tomorrow. And then I have a sneaking suspicion. We got a sneaking suspicion that me and you are going to be in the grocery cart. Oh, I guess I'm not going to be in the grocery cart. You are. Sooner than you might think. Sooner than you might expect. No promises, but we'll see. Because I got my cupboard, or my pantry is running low. So I will see you for guaranteed chest tomorrow. And potentially a little something else. But we'll just have to see that.